If you've ever felt the need to carry an ice axe behind your head, and also thought there's got to be a better way, stick around. This video may be for you. You might be interested in my channel. I'm Darren Jackal, we're in my studio, and this is Experimental Design, Discourse, and Disclosure. Before I get too far into the specifics of this project, I want to talk a little bit about the channel. It's called Experimental Design, Discourse, and Disclosure for a reason, and that reason is mainly the disclosure aspect of it. I started a website years ago because I wanted to disclose publicly my intellectual property. Why would I want to do that? Strategy. So, number one, when I disclose, I basically give up this intellectual property to the world. Two, I also claim ownership of this intellectual property. And three, and most important, is I make this intellectual property ineligible for patent protection. This comes down to intellectual property strategy. And my strategy is to protect my freedom to operate. That just means that I have intellectual property that doesn't infringe on anyone else's. I'm going to throw some gloves on for this demonstration. So like I said, I was worried about carrying my axe behind my head when I needed it most. Being on a rope on a glacier and my partner falling in the hole and me needing to get my axe put in a T-slot so I can start a crevasse rescue. You can see it's protective of me if I was ever to fall and land on it. It's got these loops. Everything's about loops. Okay, let's do that again. Move this aside. Key to this is to just be gentle and move easy. Now, once I had the axe figured out, next thing on my list was a pro pole. I use my pro pole for all kinds of things. Walking on corniced ridges, I can probe my way along, make sure I don't fall through a cornice. I can do that the same as high calls where there's a cornice. I'm not sure where the top is, cornice summits. I've used it to probe small sections of glacier when I didn't want to rope up. I've used it, just pull it out every once in a while and just check depth of snow. Pop it up, get it out. So anyways, reach back, slide it in, pop it down, through loop, and then secure with the other loop. So watch that again, how I do that with a single hand. Too small, open it up, slice it down, find the loop, jam it down, take the extra loop, grab the end, pull it down, and cinch it around itself. Now that's pretty secure. If I want to get it back out again, pop it out. Things to think about if you're going to put a Mountain Tool holster on a backpack. First thing you want to do is you want to locate the axe on the pack and subsequently your body. The pick should be right at the apex of your hip. The second is this point here. It's going to attach the long adjustable loop, and it's important that you want to get it into some meat of the pack. That's going to keep the axe from moving any more forward. It's nice to have this section as open as possible without things to hook. Slip it through the big loop and rotate it. The shaft is going to be stopped by the mechanical fastener here, and the pick is not under any tension. So at this point, if I push back on the strap, you can see it's coming under tension, and when I release it, it's going to pull the ice axe forward and into the holster. It's finally secured by the security strap. And this is designed to get a glove finger. There's a few design considerations with the holster. You want it to be robust. You want it to be able to resist the abrasions of a sharp pick. You can see there's some details here. The holster is mechanically fastened to the pack. Sometimes you can get it right onto the hip belt. You can see I've just threaded the hip belt through here, so it's mechanically fastened here and it floats at the front end. The security strap is integrated into it, and you can see it's just 4 holes, and what that does is it makes the cord behave in a way that is beneficial. It stays kind of flat and out of the way, but big enough to grab easily with gloved hands. Different mechanism is going to be required to carry an avalanche probe pole. I discovered this next component here, which is the bag. If you're going to carry a probe pole on the outside of your pack, it needs to be in a bag. When you put the pack down in the snow, snow's going to get stuffed into the bottom, and if it's snowing out, snow's going to fall into the top. It's going to ice the probe pole up, and it's going to make it not function properly. Anyways, this is the key to securing poles like this on Mountain Tool holster. A couple things you need to consider is the point up here and where this is on the bag. So setting it down, it's going to push the pole up, and then as you're skiing and moving along, it'll eventually fall down. What you need to do is ensure that the point of its lowest position is not too low that the pole will pop out. So these are critical dimensions. The loop is large and easy to find. I usually reach back with my thumb and hook it and pull the whole thing up. And conversely, I'll put my fingers through the loop. And you can see this pack is not ideal. At this stage, the Mountain Tool holster is really a device. For it to become a real product, it would need to be integrated into a standalone backpack. I'm going to make a coffee and try and wrap this up. I was really kind of hoping to spend a bit more time telling the story behind these ideas, like the fact my friend, climbing partner Bob, was killed in a crevasse fall back in 2004. Anyways, when he died, I started thinking a little bit more about how we do crevasse rescues, how we carry our ice axes, stuff like that. And so I started developing the Mountain Tool holster. I was hoping to spend a little bit more time on the design process. I'm an industrial designer. I got a master's in design from the University of Calgary close to 30 years ago now. And before that, I was an outdoor instructor, aspiring guide with a bachelor's degree in outdoor pursuits from the University of Calgary. Spent a lot of time in the mountains, climbing, skiing. My goal was to be a designer of outdoor products, and that is what I do, except I don't do it successfully commercially. I've discovered a few things about the industry, one of which is if you've got things, they're happy to have you in and take a look, but they have no power, these guys. They're just interested in seeing what else is going on out there. The people who really have the power, the decision-making power, are guys in business development, or it's a small company and the owner is the guy in charge. So what happens is you get a lot of flakes, and on the big corporations, you wind up getting, these are the ruthless guys. They got there because they're simply ruthless. They're not smart, they're not creative. They've just made their way to the top with really aggressive moves, and they run the place. I've had no real success with any of this, and that's fine. That's why I'm making these. So, some final notes here. Yeah, Churchill, perfection is the enemy of progress, and that's exactly how I feel with this first effort. Trust me, I don't think anything could be quite as stilted and awkward as that introduction. But anyways, I am just got to get it done and get it out there so I can move on and hopefully improve. The other thing I want to say is that I have zero interest in being a outdoor influencer, so yeah. 2, nothing in this video or on this channel should be considered advice. I don't give advice. This is information only. And now let's see if I can do this So my primary objective has been so my primary objective is about disclosure and IP strategy. I do value informed user feedback. So if there's anybody out there that actually is interested in any of this stuff, let me know in the comments and I'm happy to help out. As a designer, I get no greater pleasure than to see users enjoy my creations. So if anything, that's really what I'm interested in with this is just, I think these ideas actually would benefit others, so I'm throwing them out there. I'm Darren Jackal. I'm going to talk about product development, design, mountaineering. This is Experimental Design, Discourse, and Disclosure. Take it easy.